Check us out on YouTube, Facebook, and X. And for the premier sports talk experience, tap into our Roku channel. Start your mornings with Mac and Jack covering all the weekend sports action. Then pour a cup and enjoy all the sports you can drink on the Coffee and Sports podcast. At midday, talk sports from east to west on the Coast to Coast podcast. Followed at night by some hot girl talk with Prim and Proper Sports featuring Sonja Pearson. Talk boxing on the Gloved Fist. Yankee fans tune in for Start Spreading the News. And there's more on the College Sports Huddle and Sports Scope with Robert Butler. And that's just a sampling. There are 20 podcasts in all and 70 weekly shows giving us a 3.4-star viewer rating. To find us on Roku TV, search for National Streaming Sports on the Roku search bar. Click on the logo and you're in. For laptops, mobile phones, and tablets, download the Roku app. National Streaming Sports, live and on-demand sports talk.
Football season is here, and SeatGeek is my go-to for buying tickets. Now, with SeatGeek, every single ticket is backed with their buyer guarantee. We've all had plans change, and when you can't make it to the big game, SeatGeek has you covered. They're the only ticketer that allows you to return your tickets ahead of the event for credit with SeatGeek swaps. So when things come up, I know that my tickets won't go to waste. So what are you waiting for? Download the SeatGeek app to maximize your possibilities.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to one of my specials that I do every once in a while, as I have one of the podcasters from National Streaming Sports come and I interview him. And today we're going to bring on a special guest. She's the only, she is the only female on our network that does full time. She hosts her own show. She comes in as a guest host or co-host on a couple of shows, the big football show and the professional sports show. So let's bring on Prim and Proper host Sonja Pearson. How you doing,
Hi.
Sonja?
I'm well. How are you? It's so good to be here. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And Sonja, I like to start way back when things first started, how you got your interest in sports, who got you interested in sports. So let's start there. Where were you born originally, Sonja?
So I was born originally in Lumberton, North Carolina, which is Robertson County, but I was raised in Red Springs, which is the next town over. Lumberton is the only hospital we have in the county. And so that's where I'm from.
Introducing National Streaming.
Hi, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. This is Friday with the Fellas. A little throwback there with Mac, our producer, who we unfortunately lost last Saturday. We've been dedicating shows to him all week. I'm Sonja. I'm joined with BStrilla and JTrain, and this is Friday with the Fellas. Miss Linda, of course, we would not be here without you and without Mac. So we continue to send our love and prayers your way. You all make sure you download the Roku app like everyone else has already done before you, so you too can be in the know when we have live streaming sports. I'm hoping that everybody's had a great week. Happy Mother's Day to everybody this weekend. All the fur moms, the aunties, the big sisters, whatever role you play in that capacity, happy Mother's Day to you. And also to those who unfortunately no longer have their mothers, my thoughts are with you as well. All right, guys, got a lot to talk about here. NBA news going on. What's up, Monkey? Good to have you on tonight. Please share our live. NBA playoff news, guys. I mean, let's back up just a tad. The Celtics are now down 0-2. Is this a shock for you guys? Like, I'm gonna be honest, I'm shocked.
Well, I would say that I am a little bit shocked, but I mean, not as shocked as as probably New York is. I mean, I don't know if they came in thinking they can beat this team. I mean, but apparently they can, and they did twice. And not only did they do it, they did it in playoff fashion. They come back and down 21 points. Like maybe a 34 to 6 run or 11 run.
They're blowing 20-point leads for real.
Without a doubt. And so the question is not as are the Knicks formidable to play this game, or what's going on with Boston that they can't hold a 20-point lead. And I saw BStrilla earlier mention that in the first game they had a pretty much an abysmal 3-point shooting showing, and so that you definitely would do that. But to not hold a lead and that big of a lead in the fourth quarter is pretty telling. And so you got to question the heart of the champions, and you have to question the heart of the coach. And I just wonder if they're going to bounce back. That now they got to go play on the road in New York in a hostile environment with a team that's making the playoffs now. So these fans are clamoring for wins, and so but New York has always been a team that's blown it in the playoffs and lost to the big teams, the former champions, like the Bulls in the '90s. We'll see if they can hold up. I like the chances of the Knicks, but I don't think that the Boston Celtics are going to lay down and allow themselves to go 0-4 and get swept. I think Boston's going to come back and they're probably going to win tonight, and I think they probably even the series too.
I want to give a special shout out to H over there at Elite Sports and Entertainment Network. We are also joining that network officially as of yesterday, actually. But the point was, I had some problems going down with my Facebook, and so I was not able to put that information out there. But I do want to give those that team, those gentlemen over there. They were, of course, part of Mac's team when he first started out networking with National Streaming Sports, which was Northeast Streaming Sports. And so now we, at least my podcast for now, has joined them. So I want to give a shout out to them, Logan, Hooley, and that whole crew of people out there. Thank you guys so much for putting me on your network as well. Strilla, I mean, the Celtics are in a must-win situation now. Like, if they go 3-0, if they go 0-3, we are talking about a whole different setup here going for the rest of the playoffs.
Three things got to happen for the Celtics right now. They got to start hitting their threes. They're just. This is what they got them into the playoffs. This 3-point shooting has been historically the best in the NBA, and they've been awful in this playoff series. Coaching has been terrible too, down to the wire. Jason Tatum, where you at, bro? Mm-hmm. You ain't been showing your face the whole 13 points, dude. 13 points.
Mm-hmm.
No, you can't win games like that. This is almost like the Pistons series. When Pistons would go up 20 points, Celtics would come back and win the game. And Cade Cunningham wasn't scoring any points. Now, either the Knicks have gotten some defense somewhere that they didn't have it before, and everybody's playing, everybody off the bench is playing well. I don't know what's going on with the Knicks. They got a resurgence. But if Boston doesn't shape this up quick, this is going to be a short series for them. Much unaligned one for them.
I mean, they are.
The Knicks are ranked 11th in defensive efficiency, so they're not bad there.
Yeah.
They're not too bad, but let's be clear, guys. They have a real problem. Speaking of problems, I forgot to turn my power box on, and I just got a notification my laptop's about to shut down. So, okay, we're all set now. I'm just like, literally, they have relied on this 3-pointer game way too much. And they were ice cold. I mean, nobody was hitting anything. And I don't know if they're just riding high, like we're the Celtics, we're the defending champs. We don't have to do much or not. But it is not working. It is not working, guys.
Well, I will say this. Typically for the Boston Celtics, Al Horford is a mismatch for most centers because he can take it out to the perimeter and shoot. But he's going up against a guy that's more formidable, younger, and does the same thing. And so he's been having Al Horford's number this series. And
doing a good spot.
Carl Anthony Towns is who I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Carl Anthony Towns. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know, guys. Like I said, and I keep saying this is an underdog series. If we see the Celtics go 3-0, which they can do, if somebody doesn't get, in their heads quick, Tom Thibodeau is going, ape, what, crazy. And now they have a record of playing better on the road. They're going to the Garden for the next matchup. I mean, you just got to look at everything. Oh, there's our guy, Nate the Grizzly. Nate, hi.
What's up, y'all? How y'all doing?
What up, though?
Nate, thank you so much for joining us. Of course, Nate's in a different time zone. Nate the Great. He and BStrilla run the 1A Cheek 3 Toes. How's your day, Nate?
Good. Just watching some playoffs. Decided to come on here and chat with y'all a little bit. See what y'all
All
are
right,
talking
you're
about.
right in time. We appreciate you. We're talking about the Celtics. I mean, and let's get your take, Nate. The Celtics are in trouble. I mean, wouldn't you agree, or are we too early to panic?
Well, I'm a Knicks fan, so yeah, I think they are in trouble. I'll say this about the Celtics. I've been listening to a lot of talk radio this past week, and it's not good basketball when you shoot 3-pointers like half your shot chart is all 3-pointers. Like I play basketball, I've coached basketball, and it's just not fun basketball to watch, because it's ugly. I mean, half the time you take shots and they don't even go in. It just looks bad. Like, I think somebody said best, like the Celtics play like they have 3 seconds on the clock every time. Like, just take the shot and just move on, take another shot, and take another shot. It's just like, if you watch 90s basketball, like we had interior post play, we had mid range and all that. And you just don't see that with the Celtics, and the reality is that they're going to come around. Like, they're going to make their shots, shooters shoot. It happens. But I just don't think it's sustainable. Like, New York's actually played some pretty good defense. They have wing defenders that can lock up on Tatum and Brown. And I think they'll take those 3-pointers all the time. It's just a low percentage shot.
I don't know. I know a lot of folks are Knicks fans. I'm a Jason Tatum fan. Maybe I'm kind of,
Well, you're a Duke. Well, Duke, yeah.
Yeah, Duke. There you go, Nate. Put it together for everybody. I mean, I have players that I'm, fans of, not necessarily of the Lucky Charm, let's be clear. But I mean, tonight, okay, let's switch gears then. The Pacers, they're hosting the top-seeded Cleveland Cavaliers in Game 3 of their matchup. And the Pacers, surprisingly, 2-0, guys. I mean, it's the opposite of what we just talked about. Now, this is the thing. The Cavaliers are their Cavaliers players, Darius Garland and Evan Mobley, are expected to be coming back for this game, y'all. This is a crucial game. They've been out injured. And then, of course, these are difference makers across the board, across the court, I should say, because with them out, I honestly think this is how the Pacers have had a chance to kind of get ahead of the game. And they've used that time wisely to be, advantageous to those two vital players that are out. What's up, Robbie?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, they got to really contain Miles Turner. Miles Turner's their big, and missing 2 bigs like that can actually play like impressive defense. It really hurt them. And then, of course, they were close in winning the second game, but they pulled a Boston and allowed Indiana to come back and come back and win. And so that's got to be crushing for Cleveland to not win at home. But having those 2 guys in Garland and Mobley will be crucial for them tonight.
It's showing up right now. 8:05 in the third. Cleveland's got a 22-point lead.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, should we talk about that, Nate? I mean,
well, I think if you look at the two similarity, I think if you look at the two similarities to the Cavs and Knicks, the Pacers and Knicks, the reason why they're up 2-0, they have closers. Halliburton's a closer, JB's a closer. The Cavs, we don't know Donovan should be their closer, but hasn't really showed it at times. Tatum's not a closer. I'm sorry, he's just not. Brown's probably a better closer than Tatum is at times, but closers win because in the playoffs, these games are usually pretty close, and you need a guy who you can trust to get you a bucket. And I can trust Halliburton. I can trust JB to get me a bucket. These other guys, I don't know. I mean, we'll see. I'm not saying they don't have the capability of it, but we haven't seen the playoffs yet. And that's the reason why you've got a 2-0 series with two teams that nobody thought would be up 2-0, And on top of that, I think also too, when you're a team that's not as talented as the other team is, because let's be real, the Knicks are not as talented as the Celtics and the Pacers are not as talented as the Cavs.
Yeah.
You gotta muck it up. You gotta make it ugly.
And make your own plan. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to call your
series. I think both these series are going to go 7 games.
Yeah, exactly. And that benefits the Cavs, and that benefits the Pacers and the Knicks because they can muck up games and they can win ugly. Celtics can't win ugly; they'll just lose. Cavs.
Well, I will say I'm an honorary Knicks fan for Mac because Mac is that was his team.
Yeah.
So I'm
there you go. Shout out.
They might pull it out just for Mac. So for no other reason, I'll be an honorary Knicks fan for Mac too.
Hey, and also too, we got the Pope on our side too because the Pope went to Villanova.
Oh,
and the Knicks got 3 players. He got 3 players from Villanova.
Yeah, you got because I know he's from Chicago, South Sides, but the Bulls ain't nowhere near it. I saw the eye roll, Strilla. I saw the eye roll. It was hard. It was almost off the screen. Yeah, guys. All right. So now we're looking at the Western matchups. Of course, Denver Nuggets still in it. They're hosting OKC in Game 3. They tied, y'all. Not tied like tired, like some people say in the South. They are tied. They are 1-1 after the Thunder responded to a Game 1 loss with a dominant, y'all, Game 2 victory. That was explosive.
40 plus points. That's crazy.
It's good for about 5 minutes of the game.
Yeah, you're right, Sonja. Denver was tied because they got wore out. They wore them out. And it was just Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. If he doesn't get MVP, I just don't know how else he's going to win because that kid is smooth, man. I just he
Shea Butter.
Shea Butter. I called him that the other night. I said, look at Shea Butter, man, out here smooth.
Yeah.
Just doing the play. Not what is it? When you fadeaways, fakes, and everything, man. He's a mid-range god out there.
Just don't call him Diddy Oil. As long as he's not that smooth.
No.
Oh, good.
You just had to go there, didn't you?
Yeah.
It's Friday, and we've all had like a kind of tough week. The situation with Mac. I'm just trying to bring some humor so we can kind of do what Matt would want us to do in that smile and laugh and still cut up,
Exactly.
off the rails.
I think the thing that you have to understand about Denver too, Nikola Jokic, he's not going to score 42 points a game. He's going to have to if he wants to win this series, but he's not going to be able to do that. Oklahoma is like, I think we better wake up. Wake up and play. And they did exactly what I thought they were going to do the next game, just blow them out. It's
Jamal
kind of like
Murray is such a streaky wild card. He's just not.
Yeah, he can shoot you in a game. He can shoot you out of a game.
Out of the game,
yeah.
But I think.
No, go ahead.
But I was gonna say with Jokic, to B's point, I actually think that the Thunder don't have an answer for him. So I could see him getting. He might not get 42, but he'll get 30 and 20 easy. The guy sleeps and gets 30 and 20. The problem with the Thunder is, can this young team, can other players step up outside of Shai? Because Denver is a more veteran crew. They have better players right now outside of Shai. Can they rise to the occasion? Tonight's going to be a big game because they're going to Denver in the altitude, young team. Denver's going to be hyped up. It's going to be crazy. And I think Denver's going to come out with a lot of vengeance. And I think Denver takes this Game 3 tonight. And then that puts pressure on a young Oklahoma City team to at least get one in Denver, because if they don't, the series is over.
But That last game, man.
I disagree.
It really took. Yeah, I totally disagree as well. Especially with the whole losing the coach I think a lot of that's coming to show itself now. Losing the coach and the GM. I like Jokic and I like him as a player.
And hyping on this team being young. They were in the playoffs last year.
Right.
So they're not young.
But they're still showing. But they're still showing youth because Jay Will's not playing.
I don't know what's talking about how they're showing youth. They obliterated Denver. They responded like a veteran team is supposed to respond.
Yeah, but game one, Jay Will was nowhere to be found. Chet was nowhere to be found.
It's a
Chet
one
missed 2 free
game.
throws.
It don't matter what game one is. What happened in the second game?
Right.
Yeah, but they had to win the second game. They had to. If they
didn't just
go
win
down
it, though. That's the thing. They didn't just win, Nate.
I understand, but let's go back to game one. Chet had 2 free throws to ice this game and missed both. They could easily be up 2-0 right now. Like those you got to get those wins.
As JTrain always tells me, he sends me a GIF. It's from the Lion King. It's all in the past. It's all in the past.
I'm going to say this, guys. The main thing that I was waiting on you guys to mention, you didn't, just going back to the Celtics real quick. The fact that Kristaps Porzingis has been out ill has been the difference maker. You cannot tell me that these guys have skated 2-0 against the Celtics. He is the missing piece. It lets you know just how much they really do need him, as opposed to Jason Tatum, all of them. He is needed, and he's been ill. It's not COVID, but they have said he has some type of viral infection, and we can see it. It's been showing up very, very prominent. I mean,
they need to call him Crystal Porzingis.
I mean,
because he breaks like one.
I mean, that's just the facts of life. I'm not that you just got to get over that. Jason Tatum needs to step up. He's the leader of that team. He needs to step up, and he's not doing that.
Right.
He's not doing it.
He's not. His leadership, in fact, has actually been questioned because no one's seeing him. He looks like a phantom of who he was last season. This time, we are not.
Is worse than his bite.
I'm just going to tell you, Jason Tatum's going to bounce back. He's going to give this team the business. He's got to, man. Everybody's been talking about him.
That's a team that's got to. Yeah,
he is now in a win now.
Let's not just throw everything on Jason Tatum. Remember, when Jason Tatum wasn't doing what he needed to do last season, who was stepping up? It was Brown, right? Where is he at?
Let's talk about him.
$300 million men, both of them.
Yes. And what's the kid's name? He's got the ball head. They gave him like $200 million almost.
White.
I call him. I don't White. Yeah.
These guys need to step up. You got
his haircut. He got his haircut. Gonna switch that band out. You know, I used to call him Ugly Baby because he's like a baby. But now, honey, I literally that's all I've ever called him. I had to think of what his name was.
Fun fact for this series: the Celtics have missed 48% of wide open 3-pointers.
Yep,
that means that those 3-pointers, nobody was within 6 feet of that.
25 of 100
to get the rebounds. Yeah, nobody's there to get the rebounds. Nobody's there for anything. Like it's this team, like I said, I say Jason Tatum, but we can go down to the whole starting 5 and find something wrong. No one is showing up for the Celtics. Their luck has run out. They are in a win now situation, or they're done. There's no way. You know, we talked about the stats last week about the percentage of the teams that come back after being 3 down and actually come back and win. And 92%. It's only like 7 teams.
Oh, no, not 3%. Yeah.
It's only like 7 teams in the history of the NBA that's done it. The last being in 2020, the first being in 1967-68 season, but it's not common at all. So
that's why I think they're going to win tonight. Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night.
Somebody's giving them a stern talking to. I'll put it to you guys like that. A stern talking to.
I expect them to play one of the best games tomorrow, but we haven't seen the Knicks' best game either. And you know, JB has played like crap. In the series so far.
Thank you, Nate.
And so I expect him to give the business to them too. So it's going to be a good game. You know, it's going to come down to execution. And like I said, if the game's close, I trust JB over anybody on the Celtics because I know that he's going to give me a bucket. I know that you put him on one-on-one he's going to get the shot because that's just what he is. He's the guy who's not afraid to take the shot. You know, he wants the ball in his hands, unlike some people do. So
they got these, game 3 coming up, of course, tomorrow, May 10th. Then no game on Mother's Day. Then games again, if need be, on Monday and Tuesday of next week. Monday and Sunday. Excuse me. No, games Sunday and Monday. My bad. There is games on Mother's Day. My bad. I said that wrong. And a potential game 5. Yeah, potential game 5 later in the week. The NBA draft lottery is also scheduled for May 12th, guys. So that's going to be interesting to look at. Lots of NBA news, of course, going on. You guys stay glued here. We bring you all the breaking news here on Roku TV, right here, the Roku channel, National Streaming Sports, the Huddle Sports Network, and Elite Sports and Entertainment Network. Got to make sure I get all that out. So let me tell you guys, let's switch gears to my favorite subject, the NFL. We're gonna talk about that to the rest of the show. I want to start out because I know, and then we'll get to the other stuff. All right. So I haven't had everybody on since George Pickens was moved to the Cowboys from Pittsburgh. Looks like they, sold the farm for that. Myself, JTrain, and Strilla were on the midweek professional show on Wednesday, and we talked about it. But Nate, I do want to get your take on this. I mean, you're in Texas. You're not a Cowboys fan. Of course, you're a Lions fan. But, I mean, do you think that Pittsburgh really gave up a lot for him? I mean, this dude is a mental case, not like in a bad sense, but his emotions are really bad. He's already, been complaining. He's not going to be the number 1 receiver out there behind Lamb. He's going to be behind him at all times. What are your thoughts on this? George Pickens going to the Cowboys from?
Yeah, I mean, when I first heard about it, I was like, yeah, the only team that would take George Pickens is the Cowboys. It just makes sense for the Cowboys. I mean, they're desperate. They need to be in the news again, and they need a guy who can help with CD Lamb, because CD Lamb is the only returning receiver, I think, by a mile. I think the next person to have catches is Tolbert, because they got rid of Cooks too. So Pickens makes sense on the Cowboys level. With the Steelers, let me just say this. With Mike Tomlin's a patient guy. Like, he's a very player-oriented type of coach. And the fact that this dude actually requested to get rid of Pickens,
I was going to talk about that.
That just tells me everything I need to know.
He was at the front of the request to get him done. I mean, let's talk about this everyone at this point. Thanks, Nate, for that insight there. I mean, they got draft picks in 26 and 27, so they like far out 2 seasons. I love when teams do that. Like, let's do it Panther style. Let's pay for it for 3 or 4 years. Let's treat on it like a car payment or a small house note or whatever.
It was on a 1-year rental.
Yes, but the thing is, Pickens, when he joined the Cowboys, he basically stated his intentions to focus on demonstrating abilities before seeking a new contract. Like, because they were basically telling him, you got to get out of here. Like, we do not want you in Pittsburgh. However, this trade has implications for both teams. The Cowboys added a talented receiver. It's a receiver threat for all intents and purposes, who could enhance their offensive capabilities, give somebody else for Dak to target. For the Steelers, Pickens leaving there basically means that they don't have to, that they can actually create a need for addressing their wide receiver depth chart. That could actually influence their decision, believe it or not, it's connected to whether or not they bring Aaron Rodgers in, should he consider coming to Pittsburgh. But Pickens' approach, however, proving his worth about pursuing a contract, suggests that he basically had a commitment to performing well with his new team. So it looks like he got a new mindset. What are you guys' thoughts at first? Well, I see Dizzle said at first he was really mad. Pittsburgh robbed Dallas. You guys are saying all that. Yeah, I mean, what are you guys' thoughts about this? Because I don't know. I don't know if this would be an Aaron Rodgers thing. Like, okay, now that Pickens is done, we can't deal with 2 folks with this all into themselves. Let's get rid of one person we got to focus on and bring Rodgers in. And I know from a financial standpoint too, that's really the real thing. They're freeing up some money to be able to pay Rodgers, or does Rodgers even come in at all? It's been really quiet, guys. Strilla, see you shaking your head. I'm getting hypnotized.
No, he's not coming. He's not going there. He's not going there. It should have been done already. So he's just not going there. I don't know why they're forgive the term, pussyfooting around with him, but it's Pittsburgh just needs to drop that altogether. Go about their business. They drafted a quarterback. They got a quarterback there right now. Let them fight it out. You got Roman Wilson, who's coming off an injury from the University of Michigan, I had. And he's coming off injury, so he'll be another receiver they can target. Plus, there's free agent receivers on the market they can get. I think that I don't know if they got Rod. I think this is an even deal, to tell you the truth. They gave up a third and a sixth for a fifth and Pickens. So I mean, to be, you have to deal with Pickens. Pickens might be talking all the right smack going into camp. Oh yeah, I want to do this and I want to do that and all that. Yeah, wait until he doesn't get his catches and he throws the spaz on the sidelines. Then we'll see the reason why he's only got 1 year to prove himself on that team, because this is his last year of his rookie contract. They can just let him go. It could be a rental for all we know. So, and I think the Steelers can replace him with Keenan Allen, for instance, a good route runner that can catch the ball, got good hands. They need somebody like that. Mari Cooper, they can get him. Somebody can stretch the field a little bit. I mean, they got options, but Aaron Rodgers isn't one of them. I don't think they're going after Aaron Rodgers anymore. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is even interested right now. So
they're saying Steelers should just start Howard. I mean, Howard did say he basically begged them to take him. I mean, I don't know, guys. JTrain, what are your thoughts about this? I mean, I forget we're on live. I want to call Pittsburgh what everybody else calls them. They replaced the P with an S.
Oh yeah,
not spit either.
Or T.
Kind of like I do Chicago. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. What are your thoughts, JTrain?
I hear BStrilla about George Pickens. But look, let's be clear about him. He is a diva. He's a wide receiver. Most of them are divas. Look, there's probably problems with this one. That's probably a little bit worse than some of the others. But we can go back. Dallas, this is revisionist history. We look back at Dallas with Terrell Owens after he just obliterated Donovan McNabb. He obliterated the quarterback in San Francisco. I forgot the guy's name. He called a man gay.
Jeff Garcia.
Jeff Garcia, and then Donovan McNabb. He put him out there, and then got there. And with Tony Romo, obviously he played well for the first couple of years, but his personality always clashes with everybody, and so he ends up having to get cut from the team, and goes to another team and shines, and then gets cut again. So to me, a third rounder for George Pickens is just like you said, probably a rental. I don't have a problem with that if he balls out this season. If I'm Dak Prescott, I'm kind of rubbing my hands here because I got another deep threat, and that allows CeeDee Lamb to go out and do what he does. If he's complaining, let him complain. I'll give him the ball. Right, exactly. I'll get him the ball. But you got to know when you're coming in here, the $1 million man is CeeDee Lamb. You're trying to make it. You're trying to you're trying to get your coin, but you don't have it yet. So you got to come out and prove yourself. And I think he's going to do that with Dak Prescott. Now, with that said, flipping the other side, we're talking about Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers was doing this last year with the Jets. I mean, he's just probably making more sense not to even give them any time. He probably wants to take a little time and don't go through any mini camps or OTAs or anything like that, and just, hey, we did a handshake. I'm coming. But I'm not about to get out here and go practice. I'm 40-something years old. I don't want to get out there.
Yeah.
So he'll probably get out there when training camp happens, and we'll see Aaron Rodgers. But the only problem is they don't have another guy. And as far as the you mentioned BStrilla, you mentioned Keenan Allen. From what I read, his home is in L.A.
Oh, yeah.
And I think he wants his family. So I don't think he wants to go anywhere but there if he can. If he doesn't, he's likely he may retire.
I mean, I love how everybody likes to geographically put these players at. But if somebody's paying you, you're going to play for them. Don't make a difference if your house is in Hawaii. I don't care. If they pay, you're going to play. I don't care.
I mean, it also depends on how wealthy they are too. If they don't need the money, they'll stay where they are. But I mean, sure, if they want to play, yeah. You go where the opportunity is. The thing I'll say about it with Aaron Rodgers is I don't think the door is closed at all on Aaron Rodgers. Actually, it's been reported this week that he's trying to get Allen Lazard on the Steelers. Well, Allen Lazard played with Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay.
Yeah.
So why
I'm sick of this.
why would you get a guy like that and put him on your team for
exactly? What kind
of
mess? I didn't even know that.
You
Nate.
know,
Now you come in here bringing this mess.
Well, I mean, like I'm telling you, I listen to a lot of talk radio.
Yeah,
but he ain't there. First of all, he's not there.
Not yet.
But that's just speculation.
He be bringing his people.
I mean, but these are from
these people though. Y'all know how.
It's just like his boy that came there that Thursday to with the announcements and stuff like that. It's speculation. It ain't gonna happen. Rodgers would have been there by now. Pittsburgh would have got this thing done. They've already went ahead and did what they were supposed to do. They went to draft a quarterback. That's what that's their focal point right now.
But the thing is, B, they don't. He doesn't have to rush this because he's 40 years old. There's not any installation or anything going. Well, hold up. I understand what you're saying, but there's no installation right now for them him to rush into camp. They're just doing throws in air right now. He could do that anywhere. He was already doing that with DK Metcalf, and he hasn't even signed. Like I'm just saying, like he can come in later when they start doing insulation, But the thing is too, it was also reported too that he pushed for Pickens to get traded because he didn't want to deal with two head case receivers, and he was more happy with having DK because he's already thrown with DK, he's already practiced with DK, and he maybe likes Roman Wilson, and then he probably wants Lazard too. So I'm just saying, I think there's more speculation. Yes, I understand, but I say always follow the breadcrumbs. There's certain breadcrumbs that he's laying out, and it wouldn't surprise me if he does sign with the Steelers at some point, probably after the schedule's released.
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Yeah. They would be really dumb at this point.
That or retire, one of those two.
They would be really dumb. I'm just the whole.
I would be through with Pittsburgh if they sign Aaron Rodgers. I would.
Right.
There you go, yeah.
That's just a bad move. Just a bad move all the way around.
Why?
I heard that. I heard what Monkey said is what I've been hearing.
Yeah.
Because
I'm not a fan of Aaron Rodgers.
Everybody's hyping on the fact he doesn't want to have a head case with, we don't want to have Pickens because he's dude, you're a head case.
Right.
Yeah, 3 heads don't make right. So he wants to get rid of one.
You're the problem.
He wants to be the main head case.
My problem is I just think that Aaron Rodgers is going to play for them because who else are they going to get?
Right.
Who else?
He could go to the Vikings. He could go to the Vikings.
I mean, No disrespect.
The Vikings threw that out when they traded for.
No disrespect to Robbie's team, but I just cannot see Steeler fans jumping on the bandwagon saying, "Oh, Mason Rudolph is our starter going into game one." I just cannot see that. If it was anybody else that was decent or something like that, I could be like, "Okay, fine, I can buy that narrative." You cannot
Let
tell
me put this out there, BStrilla. If you had the opportunity to put DK Metcalf with the best quarterback that's available, you telling me you would go with Mason versus Aaron Rodgers?
Child, that's gonna be explosive with those two.
Dude,
Aaron Rodgers and
there's more. He ain't even that quarterback no more. So I don't even know why.
He's better than Mason Rudolph.
I'm not going to say that he was.
You haven't seen Will Howard out there.
I'm not going to say he was the MVP. I'm not going to say he was the MVP when he was with the Jets, but he still put some numbers up.
Yeah, I would take him over Mason Rudolph.
I could put some numbers up. No,
you're funny, man.
Will Howard and Mason can compete for the number one spot. That's how it should be. Bringing this headache into the okay.
If this is my potential.
Go ahead. And you know what? I don't even know why I'm arguing because it ain't my team. I don't really care. Go ahead and go to Pittsburgh, Aaron Rodgers, and screw that team up just like you did the Jets and Green Bay.
That would make us laugh more as Lions fans. We know how much we hate Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers.
Go do it.
Aaron Rodgers is the equivalent of a male organ. All he does is goes around and screws up teams.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
That's a good analogy right there.
Woo. And I kept it PG. All right. Speaking of screwing up opportunities, Shamar Stewart basically now has not signed his paper. Say he just can't see himself not on the field with everybody else putting in work. Guys, should we be thinking this is a diva mentality? I think it's this whole draft class has a sense of entitlement, or is it just not common? Is it not uncommon, I should say, for players to wait to sign their papers?
It's happened before. It's nothing new. I mean, listen, I get, like, you have to understand that these players now, especially in today's world, everybody's protecting their money, you know, and they're not going to get on the grass until they got to sign contracts. I understand, you know, like it's like me starting to work without a paycheck. Like I'm not gonna do that. You know, I want to make sure I got money already guaranteed in my hand before I even start putting any hands to the ground on anything. So I get it. I understand it. You know, it's not the first time a player said, I'm not going to do anything until I sign. I mean, hell.
Yeah, but this guy is playing. He's drafted first round off potential.
Right.
This is indicative of a player that averaged 1.5 sacks per season. I'm not buying that. I think, look, if I'm a team, I'm calling this bluff, and I'm paying you what I think you're worth. We got you in mid-round. You're lucky to get a mid-round, first-round draft pick for what you did. I mean, virtually his RAS scores was off the chart at the combine, and he showed. But to me, that's just no different than Jamarcus Russell. We don't know what you're going to do in the pros because you didn't do that great in college, and here you are. You got some natural talent, but it didn't show on the field. And so I want to see what you can do, and let's earn your money. Let's earn your paycheck, man.
And it'll get done. It'll get done. He's not going to hold out. It'll get done. I mean, I just think that he's just
who knows
being cautious.
Hold out or not. Cautious. I mean, there's a whole bunch of other rookies that are first round draft picks are not being cautious, and they're playing before they get their contract signed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's the individual.
Come on, dude. Shadur's out there playing.
That's what I just said, including Shadur.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, but he's a fifth-round draft pick. He didn't get nothing. He ain't getting nothing paid. Come on, he's getting pennies. I promise you, that's a good point. If Shadur was a first-round draft pick, would he be the same way?
I just never personally heard this.
Probably.
I feel like if you're drafted, you're coming on a team where everybody else is a veteran except for you. And they have released top round draft picks before. It is not unheard of that they go out there and they fail a physical or they just can't get the concept and they are back home. I mean, it happens. So everybody that's drafted, there's a reason why you are drafted. They literally still trying to figure out uniform numbers for some people because you are on the practice squad. You are not officially on the 52-man roster until you have proven yourself.
Right. You think there's any correlation? I just thought this in my head. Do you think there's any correlation to maybe the way the Trey Hendricks deal is going with that franchise? That maybe he kind of sees that, hey, you know, they're treating Trey like this, like they don't want to give him a deal. You know, maybe he's like, shoot, you know, I'm going to play some hardball with these guys because maybe they're trying to lowball me.
I think that's
nobody else but himself at this point.
But people always see other things that happen to other people.
No.
You don't know Cincinnati's trying to screw him. The point is, they just went out there. They just went out there and had one of their safeties take a pay cut so they can get more money so they can sign Trey Henderson. They're trying to do everything they can. They're pulling money out mattresses right now to try to see if they can pay him.
Well, but here's my thing is, and I get what you're saying, but if I'm Trey Hendricks, I'm like, I'm worth more than T. Higgins is. Like Jamar Chase deserved to get his money, but I'm worth more for this team than T. Higgins is because I hold down the defense.
Let me ask you this question: how old is Trey Hendrickson?
It's 31.
Exactly.
How many sacks did he have last year?
How old is Max Crosby?
17.5.
Yes,
2 years in a row.
17.5, but 2 years in a row. But does it drop off? Is the question. That's a gamble. If you're a business. If you're in business, let's think about it from the business perspective, from the owner. If I'm in business, but I paid you money before to get those sacks. I got you and you got paid. But now, because everybody gets a second contract, but when you get a third contract, you need to be more reasonable with your age because he's trying to give Max Crosby money.
But he's getting paid $15
Max
million.
27.
Yeah,
Max
he's
Crosby
getting paid
27.
$15 million, and he outplayed Max Crosby last year.
But I think they offered him $25 million. He wants more than that.
Okay. Trey Henderson is the fourth, an active defensive ends is the fourth most sacks, has the fourth most sacks The
production's there. The production's there.
The production is there.
It is, but at some point,
he's getting lowball. He was getting lowball when he signed his other contract. So really, he wasn't getting paid what he was worth at the time that
he's underpaid at a huge.
Well,
rate.
I mean,
it's like Hassan Reddick. Hassan Reddick is a perfect example
because he got short arm. Let me say this: he definitely
17.5 sacks.
The Saints drafted him. The Saints drafted him. He had 13.5 sacks when the Saints couldn't pay him. They made the bad decision of not keeping him. Mm-hmm. But again, he got a contract. He got paid at the time. That was a really good contract.
Sure.
But he was coming off one season of 13.5 sacks. He was a third-round draft pick, so we didn't know what he was going to do following that. He got 217. He got 17 sack seasons, but he's 31. How do you not know if that's going to sustain itself? Especially if he's the only guy.
That's fair, and I think he would have been signed if he would have been a little younger. I agree with you.
You got to look at you got to look at how he's been playing. Every year he's gotten better.
Yeah, but also
so many guys fall off after they get that third contract.
And I've seen so many guys get just as good too. It goes hand in hand.
Also, too, it's more leverage too, because if you take Trey Hendricks off that defense, they're already bad with him. They're even worse without him. And on top of that, you're relying on a Shamar Stewart, who like you said, the production wasn't there. The potential's there, but the production's not there. So you're telling me you're going to replace him?
Okay. What did they tell him to do? They said that you can go out and seek a trade. So what has happened since then? No team wanted that. Well,
they don't want to pay. A lot of teams
they don't want to give up the first round.
There you go. So why would we want to pay him that? That's what I'm telling you. If anybody else don't want to take him and to pay him that amount of money he wants, why would we do that? So the leverage is in Cincinnati.
Washington
the leverage
will take him.
Well,
they haven't yet. They're not going to take him at the money he wants. They would have done it already. They would have done it already.
Maybe not.
It's very crystal clear that they don't value him because you paid Chase, which you deserved. Chase deserves his money. I'll give him that. Mm-hmm. You gave T. Higgins a huge bag. So you basically told Trey that we value our receivers and our offense more than we value a defense that is depleted.
Of course. That makes sense. That makes more sense. Where is the value in 2025? Where is the value best suited in offense or defense for Cincinnati?
Probably offense, because you got Joe Burrow.
It's no probably, of course, it's offense. It's definitely offense. So why would I put all my coins and bags into my defense with the guy that's on it has got 17 sacks, but the defense is still garbage, when I can have Joe Burrow lighten it up, putting up the points on the board, and make sure we have the guys around him that can put the points on the board.
And that's why they drafted Shamar too.
Like Sonja said, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer. Speaking of no-brainers, we got like 9 minutes left. Strilla, I want to get your last thoughts on this before we move on. Go ahead.
They were 9-8. Were they 98 last year? What was their record? 8-9, wasn't it?
9-8 or 8-9.
They had the same weapon. They had all that same stuff at the beginning of the season. What did they do? Went 0-4. You can't do that. I'm sorry. It doesn't make a difference if you got the whole NFL Hall of Fame on your offense. You got to be able to start playing up to that potential when you come out the gates. Cincinnati has not done that in the last 3 years, ever.
Yeah, they haven't.
First of all, second of all, their defense, they have a tough division. Okay, the North is not. The AFC North is not a joke.
The North.
Hence why you need elite pass rushers. That's another reason.
It's hard to come by.
You need some kind of semblance of a defense. Yeah. I'll put it to you that way.
Speaking of this, we got to allow for I think it's just a few seconds that the rolling credits would be on. Bengals better do what Joey wants because he owns there. But let's move on from the Bengals. Who Dey Nation, good luck to them. Let's talk about some releases. I finally get to actually plug in my Panthers. I don't really talk about them too much on here because I just usually am not happy about them, so I just kind of omit them. But they are releasing Jadeveon Clowney. The Clown Show has gone on the road again, guys, after selecting 2 edge rushers in the recent NFL draft. That's a no-brainer because we knew when they selected those draft rushers, we were like, Clowney's about to pack up his nose and shoes and get on his clown car and drive up out of there. So Shout out to you, JTrain, if you're watching. That's like a symbolism that JTrain always talks about clowns. This decision, of course, makes the Panthers suggest that they're going to be moving towards incorporating younger players. Jadeveon Clowney, y'all, 7 years in the league, 7 teams, just as many teams as he has been in the league. And I didn't know that until I started looking into it. I was like, this dude
It's only been 7 years? Wow.
Yeah,
No, it's been 7 years.
No,
Right?
it's gotta be more than that. Yeah.
He's been but he's
In
been
2018, wasn't he drafted in 2018?
right.
That's 7
Was
years.
he?
Yes,
Dang.
that's 7 years, and he's been on a team every year from Seattle
No,
to the Panthers to everybody.
2018. There's no way. It's older than that.
Fact check us.
Well, somebody look it up. Somebody look it up, please.
You can look it up while I'm going on to this next little point. And Rob, but he's been on 7 teams in 7 years. That part of the fact. Now, I thought it was 7 years in the draft. It does feel like forever, but sometimes when you count
2014 is when he started.
10 years. So 3 more years, but he's still been on the last 7 years. He's been on 7 teams.
Well,
So
6.
but now he's about to be on his 7th because we just got rid of him.
You were right.
So,
Yes.
Yeah, so we don't know who's going to
6.
take him.
6. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, we're now going to be looking at incorporating younger players in. You know, we need some fresh talent on there to get our defensive lineup going, potentially signaling a shift in our long-term strategy about that side of the ball, the defense. You know, everybody talks about that. The whole NFL talks about our defense. The other part, this is what really infuriates me. Jonathan Brooks, who was drafted injured by the Panthers, and the Panthers medical staff cleared him too early. He got injured again December 24th, the Christmas Eve game against the Eagles. And now he's got a tear on both legs, basically, Achilles, what have you. And now he's out for the entire season. So they're not even going to bring him back in 25. They're hopeful he'll make a full recovery now by being out, the entire season. Guys, I do want to ask you, I mean, is this guy going to even be able to come back like at this point? This is so heartbreaking to know you're now missing basically 2 full seasons of your first introduction to the NFL.
ACLs can go one way or the other. I've had one on each knee. One, I had a great recovery. The other one wasn't all that great. I've seen athletes, running backs in particular, have ACL injuries and have great success. Where, I mean, Adrian Peterson is a different animal to even mention. To come back in 7 months and become and go into MVP form, an offensive player of the year in 2012. But that's an outlier. So ACL injuries are pretty tough, especially if you're injury prone and you have multiple. It's hard. I can name some players. Garrison Hurst that came back, had a great career with multiple knee injuries. What's the kid's name? The guy's name. He's a journeyman. Frank Gore.
Yeah, that's right. Frank Gore. Yeah, he had some injury. Yeah,
he had a couple of knee injuries, and he had a great career. So it can go one way or the other. I think I did mention. I said that doesn't sound good that they put him on IR and he's out for the year. But if he has a full recovery and with technology today, and he puts his heart into it, I think he can come back and play. But it just seems almost unlikely with the way that.
because of the timing of it, they're not even giving him a chance to try to come back. This is like May, and they're already like, don't even look for him in August and September. He's not coming back. Like to me, it's just like, wow, like y'all just went ahead and got ahead of it. Nate, BStrilla, what do y'all think?
Yeah, they're just being cautious. I mean, he's had 2 ACL injuries in 2 years. I mean, I definitely would be wrapping him in bubble wrap for a year and just letting him fully heal, and then trying into 2026 to see if he can be the guy. Probably not. More likely, he's going to be limited in a lot of aspects. And I do believe, Sonja, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't y'all take a running back in the draft?
Yep.
There you go.
Yes, but see, the other thing is this. The other thing is I wouldn't have the same feelings if he had been in the league a couple of years and this happened. Even if he had been in the league a full year, we have not seen his true potential even from the draft, right, BStrilla?
Right,
I mean, he came in basically with a set of crutches. And if I recall correctly, he was at the draft on crutches, if I remember correctly.
Did his birth certificate come with some crutches too?
Tiny crutches, you're right.
Yeah, speaking of, just speaking of his potential, I mean, being here in Texas, I saw a lot of his games. He's got a lot of skill. Like, he's a big power back with some good speed, good balance. The thing is that it's still 2 ACL injuries. I mean, the reality is that his career in the NFL is probably 5 years or less. If you get anything out of him, and who knows, maybe this running back might outseed him. NFL stands for not for long, so we'll see.
Jacksonville has released their wide receiver Gabe Davis, saying he failed physical designation. I mean, his health and future playing status in general is now questionable, not just with the Jags. They're going to now have to reevaluate their wide receiver position. The Dolphins parted ways with Blake Ferguson. I was shocked about that one. They made 4 roster cuts today. It doesn't seem big in the other 3 positions, but with Blake Ferguson, this looks at a change in their special teams personnel, and this is going to be having a big impact on how they have been playing consistency across the board, and especially for their kicking and punting operations. As we get ready to close out, I'm about to talk about JTrain's favorite thing. So Shador has gotten himself Tom Brady's number. Now he's number 12. And he basically, wants to, get Brady to, he says he's chasing greatness. We saw him out there making cuts. Looks like he's got, a great let's go get him personality. Do you think he makes this cut, this roster?
Yes. There's a great opportunity for them to make the roster. I don't know if he's going to start, but I think he's going to have limited snaps and limited snaps to play to get his opportunity to get out there. So he's got to make the best of them. I mean, from what I saw, obviously this is just mini camp, but man, you can see it still reminds me of when he was at Carolina. At Buffalo, Colorado.
And so, shout out to Travis Hunter, who graduated today from Colorado. He said he got it done in 3 years. I wonder if they just hooked him on up since he went on in the draft. But
wearing his Jag socks too.
He had a 4.0 GPA though, so he's been working for it. It's not like they just pushed him out there. Congratulations to you, Travis Hunter, a Buffalo alum officially. Strilla and Nate, you guys' thoughts on this this reassessment of Jacksonville and all these folks?
I mean, Travis Hunter's.
I'm sorry, Shador.
Shador. Oh,
yeah, Shador. And then I got kind of caught up with the Jackson.
No, you're good. Shador's gonna have to beat out Dylan Gabriel. I mean, that's the first battle. We're not even talking about him starting at all. He's got to beat out Dylan Gabriel because they like Dylan Gabriel a lot. Stefanski is a big fan of him, and they actually drafted him. There's people saying that the owner wanted Shador. So there you go. The owner wanted Shador.
Likely.
Yes,
that's
and the
likely.
GM wanted Gabriel.
Look at the stills of that war room and that Brad sitting there. Their faces were just stunned. There's no way.
The disconnect right there is already beginning. So he's got to beat out the golden boy. In
even if he doesn't beat him out, that owner's going to find a way to keep Shador on that team. He sells tickets. I think already he sold the highest in. Sure, he sold the highest in jersey.
Yes. Strilla, we got about 30 seconds. Strilla, let me let you close us out. What are your thoughts on that?
So, did we see any highlights of what Dylan did today, or is it just Shador?
What's up, Mike?
No, show some Dylan. Still a little bit.
How was he?
He looked pretty. I mean, he's a short arm. He's like Shador. They're very similar players. It's gonna be fun to watch those two go at it.
Well, like I said, it's going to be between him. Yeah, you're right. It's going to be between him and Dylan because he's got to get over that hump. Owner versus coach, basically, in this whole strategy. I don't think that either one of them are going to start, no matter who wins. The quarterback, I think Flacco's got that all in there. So,
all right. Well, as I always say, the verdict's still out. And in this case, it's maybe not a no-brainer. JTrain, BStrilla, Nate, of course, always a fun show with all of us on together. It was a great time. Thanks to everybody for all the likes, loves, and comments. And now we are going to end our stream here.
Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. Shout out.
Happy Mother's Day to everybody. Good night.